Okay, anime explosions. Let's do it. Alright, so we're in Blender. What you're going to want to do is tab into edit mode and start extruding that default cube into whatever random shapes you want to. Just get it looking all nice and modern art-esque. So, just doesn't really matter at this point. Just get it all over the place. Just taper it at the bottom to give it that nice mushroom cloudish look. So, now we're going to move on to our modifiers. Add a subdivision surface, put that up to 3, add a displacement, new texture, go into your textures tab, add in a Voronoi. Scale that right on up, go back to your modifiers tab and invert the scale to give it that nice smoky explosion look. So what this needs is some animation and some materials. So first of all, we're going to shade this smooth, pull out to the shader editor, and then we're going to want to add a shader to RGB node and a color ramp. Set that to constant and go into rendered mode, making sure that this is Eevee. Then you're going to want to go into your scene settings under color management and change this from AGX to standard to get those nice bright cartoon colors that you often see in anime. So what we're going to want to do is crunch this forward just a little and then change this to a nice bright orangey, almost red color for fire. Then we're going to want to add another color stop and make that a nice bright yellow. Maybe pull that back a little bit so we can see the orange a bit better. And that's the shading. So now we're going to want to add a nice little emission so we can control this a little bit more for later if we want to add some bloom to make it look nice and glowy. Now, what we need is animation. Add in an empty plane axis, move it over, and go back to your explosion object, and in your modifiers tab, change the coordinates from local to object. Choose your empty as that object, and now, as you can see, if we move it up and down, it looks like there's billowing smoke. So at the beginning of your timeline, set a keyframe, go to the end, set another keyframe, and then move it up. And what we got, some nice billowing effects. Now all we need is to make it look a little bit more like it's actually exploding out of something. So tab back into edit mode, move that up so the origin is near to the bottom of the explosion. And then what you're going to want to do is set a keyframe at frame 10-ish, depending on how long you want your explosion to take. You set a keyframe there, go back to frame 0, scale it way on down, and set another keyframe there. Then you're gonna want to hit play on your timeline and boom, explosion. Fancy. Then you're gonna want to go into your compositing tab, hit use nodes, add in a glare node, make that bloom, make your viewport compositor always, go into the shader editor, and now you can adjust your emission to your fancy to make it that nice, glowy explosion. So boom, there you have it. Anime explosions in Blender. Pretty easy.